90 to 120 days, you're like, okay, like I feel like I can breathe. I've got most of my contracts signed, you know, let me move on to the next stage. And then you move on to the next stage, and then that is stage 4. And stage 4 is like, you know, automation and systems. Okay. This is like systematizing and automating everything. When you do this, this is what's going to create the passive income, right? This is when you really start getting into your software and you're like, okay, I really need to set up my like revenue management. All right, I really need to get in and do my dynamic pricing. I really need to, like, you know, get my fee schedule set up. I really need to get my communication set up better. You know, I got to get my email set up and my text messages. So for instance, like if they're, you know, if they're late on the 4th, they will, so yeah, so rent is due on the 1st. If they're late on the 4th, they'll get an email and a text message, and they'll get charged the $10, right? So you have to set all these rules up inside the software and everything, right? And there's like so much more, honestly, like auctions, online auctions. Nobody needs to do anything like in person anymore. You can set online auctions up in certain softwares, not in all the softwares, but in certain softwares you can do that. You can do mailings, your mail house, right? So if you need to mail letters for any reason, you know, some softwares will do that. And then you could set like automatic letters to go out for like price increases or like owner transfer or whatever it is, right? So you could set all this up. So there's a lot of ways for you to really automate the software. And I'm going to tell you, most owners do not do this. Most owners do not do this. But this is how you're going to create the passive income, is to really get into the software and really learn how to do this. And this is what we do in our boot camp, right? So remember, we do on, oops, let me just do this here. So we have our boot camp in September, right? And it's run them, which is the management and the onboarding. Really getting into stage 2 and 3, okay? Or stages 2, 3, and 4. Okay, that's really what it is. Okay, so that's the 4 stages of investing in self-storage. All right, that's the 4 stages. And then what I wanted to do here is just kind of go into like how the coaching works. Right, so you know, this is how we do it, so y'all could just check to see. But the first thing that you do when you sign up for Storage Nerds is you get access to super simple self-storage. Okay, this is the course access. Now you could buy that separately if you want, right? You could just DIY yourself too. But if you wanted, if you decided to join the coaching program, then that would be like as a bonus. Okay, this becomes your curriculum, and you can go through that. All right, but really the best thing is that you have access to the mastermind, because the mastermind is where the community comes together. Really, you get to meet everybody, right? So you get to meet everybody in the coaching program, and guess what? Everybody in the coaching program has like one goal, and that's to buy storage facilities, right? To buy them and own them. Okay, so you get to be around like people just like me, and hear from them. And then also in the coaching program, we have what's called student showcases in the mastermind. And student showcase is like where the student comes during the mastermind and they like talk about the facility that they just bought. How did they find it? How did they fund it? How do they run it? Right? So you can hear from everybody in the coaching program. So this last quarter, we had 7 students buy storage. a storage facility, right? So over the course of the next couple of months, everyone gets to hear all about like how they went through all 4 of those stages, right? You can hear how everybody's doing it. And I love the student showcases. I'm telling you, like, they're so good. I mean, everybody loves, that's like the best part. Everybody loves the student showcases because then you get to hear how everybody's doing stuff, not just me, right? I mean, everybody gets tired of me teaching all the time. So I make everybody else teach. And that's another thing too. Like if somebody has something like, so for instance, like Philip, I told you, he's part of the group and he works for, like, he owns a storage facility and he also works for a company that builds storage. And so I like tell them, like, you have to come on and tell everybody the process and like what's going on in the industry, how, give us like the process on how to build a storage facility. So he would be considered a student showcase, right? So everybody could hear, and he's like, yeah, I'll do that, So he'll come on and talk for like an hour about all things how to build self-storage. And it's coming from somebody not only in the group, but has experience doing that, okay? Yeah, so we have those as well too. So guest speakers, this is where we have the guest speakers come in as well too. So for instance, this last Tuesday, because we actually meet on the first and third Tuesdays of the month. Okay. And that's when we have like our masterminds. So last Tuesday was the third Tuesday, and we had this woman, her name is Catherine, come in. She's very well known in the industry and knows everybody. And what she does is she does feasibility studies. And so she came in and she basically took the entire like group through how she does her feasibility study. And a feasibility study, if anybody doesn't know, is like, I want to either build or add on or expand my facility. So you typically don't do a feasibility study if you're buying a mismanaged facility or an income producing property. You typically do a feasibility study if you're building, if you want to expand, or if you're going to do a conversion. So that's what she does. She also owns like 4 storage facilities, but she came on and just went through her entire process of how she does the feasibility study so that we could actually not only hear from her about how she does it, but also we could just do it ourselves. I mean, she basically said, like, this is exactly what I do. This is everything that goes in my feasibility study. You all can do it yourself. Or you could pay me if you want. But I mean, essentially, you could do this yourself. This is all the stuff that we do. So that's kind of what our guest speakers are. We have like awesome. We have lenders, builders. We have like, software demos. We have guest speakers coming in all the time. So that's like one of the really cool things that I love about the mastermind. And then we also talk about like wins and challenges, right? So then that way you can hear like what are people working on? Like, hey, I called like 5 owners this week, and I actually talked to one, he's interested in like getting an offer, or like, I'm really having a hard time with the scripts on the phone. Like, what can I do to improve myself? I'm not getting everything on my onboarding checklist done in time. I feel like I'm being rushed or whatever, So, which was actually one of the things that came up in the last Tuesday. So like, that's the kind of stuff that you hear, and then we just work through that kind of stuff, So that's that. And then also we have the boot camps I told you about. Boot camps. Remember, I do find them, find, fund, run, right? And that is, I teach these two. Sorry, this is Stacy. And then my husband teaches this one. So Pete, if you guys don't know, Pete is my husband. He's the one that manages the 13 facilities that we have. And I do find them and fund them, right? And so remember, find them is in February. And then fund them is in May. And run them is in September. That's how it always is every year. All right, every year. And this is where, we just take you step by step through all the processes. It's a boot camp. It's a 2-day boot camp. And after the boot camp, because remember, I'm teaching every 90 to 120 days, you should be moving from one stage to the other, right? So, so like you get in and then you come to the Find Them boot camp. And then over the course of the next 90 to 120 days, you're like, okay, I'm out there looking, the goal is by May to get it under contract so that you'll be ready for the Fund Them boot camp. And then it'll be all about money. right? And then you go on to the run them and you can learn about management and stuff. Okay, and all these are all recorded, so if you miss it, you can just watch it too. Okay, all right. And then we have the one-on-one coaching calls. Right. And this is where you can talk to either me or Pete. We are both available. You can do as many coaching calls as you want. We're both available during the week. And Pete is like, run them, right? And I'm find them and fund them. And we're available during the week for you to hop on to a session and be like, okay, what do I do now? What do I do now? Now what? Is this a good deal? How should I do this? What should I say? This kind of stuff, right? So that's what the one-on-one. So we're there to hold you accountable, but we're there to just keep you moving forward as well, too, right? Just keep you moving forward for the next week. And then also we have the let's see what else we got. Mastermind, boot camps, one-on-one coaching, and the infield training days. This is the only live session. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all, these are all virtual. Right, virtual. All right, virtual. This is virtual. Okay, this is live. This is like the one time you can come hang out with Stacy and Pete for the day. And then you fly into Atlanta. Okay. And then you go to like some of our storage facilities. We drive for storage. And then like you get to meet the community. And then you also get to see how we manage our facilities. How do we do due diligence? How do you look at facilities? How does Pete manage all this stuff? How do we do the trash or the lockouts and stuff like this, right? So that's the infiltrating. Super fun day, right? Just a full day just hanging out, spending time with each other, networking and stuff, all right? And we do those 3 times a year, and you could do those as many times as you want. Hang out with us anytime, all right? And then finally, we have the portal. And the portal is where you have like your documents, checklists, contracts, anything that you could think of that you need, systems. And then also replays. Oops. Of all the Monday night sessions, all the students get access. So the scripts, the one that we did last week, you have access to that in the Monday night session. And then also the boot camps are all there. And this is all since I started coaching. So I was there for several years. And then you could just go into the portal and just like type you just type in like auctions, and there's like trainings and checklists and all kinds of spreadsheets and all kinds of stuff that you could watch. Or you could type in like, lenders, private lenders or lenders and all funding or whatever, and just stuff comes up. Okay. So those are the 6 ways that we teach. All right. Those are the 6 ways that we teach. Okay. So let me just do this here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So those are all there. That's the coaching. These are the 6 ways that we teach the 4 stages. All right. So over the course of the next year, you will be going through all 4 of those stages, and then you'll be learning and being educated by these channels. Right.